two positions on the windshield. We can show you this later when you go out if you want the high or low. Some of you guys are bigger than others, but also it's reacting to the light, so you can see it at night time as well. Rally is the most aggressive, off-road is the softest, street sits between. Rally mode just allowing you to choose your throttle characteristic and dial in your slip control, slip adjust on the move really fast. Storage box here, maybe you put your phone in there, or essential documents you want to keep safe. Accessing the air box, the air filter, just 2 screws here on this plate. So the same each side, you have a storage compartment which you can put tools in, it comes with the toolkit in there.
Today is a bit of a short ride, partly due to the weather conditions. We go at the hotel, we turn left, and we go down into a valley, which is quite cool. It has a lot of date palms growing in it, and the best dates in Morocco come from this area.
Hello, we're in Morocco right now at the international media launch of the KTM 790 Adventure. The Sahara Desert is somewhere back there. This is the bike. We had a ride with it today. It's the standard version. Tomorrow we're gonna ride the R version, and it was such a nice ride. I mean, this bike is really amazing. It impressed me a lot, and I'm gonna tell you why. The most impressive thing for me is that this bike feels lighter than it really is. I mean, if looking at the specs, you're gonna see that it weighs about 189 kilos dry, without any fuel. And if adding the fuel, you'll get somewhere around 210 kilos or something like that. It feels lighter because of this smart fuel tank, because of this design. Let me show it to you. It's about the center of gravity, because now the center of gravity is lower, it's over here. And it's not just that, the bike feels narrower. It feels like riding a 500cc bike. Take a look at this. The handlebar is right where it should be. It's wide, it's how it should be, and it's adjustable. It has about 5 or 6 stages. The foot levels are adjustable, the seat is adjustable, and you can easily touch the ground while riding this bike, so it fits almost everyone. Also, the windscreen is adjustable, but you can't do it on the go. You need a special tool for that, but it's not such a big issue because you're not gonna adjust your windscreen every day. The weather protection is okay. You can feel some wind, some buffeting. I can't say for sure because it was very windy today outside, but it doesn't come with a side fairing, with a large fairing, so the weather protection is limited compared to the other adventure bikes in the middleweight segment. The seat feels okay, but we had only 2 hours with this bike, so I don't know what's gonna happen when you're gonna ride it for 10 hours, let's say, but hopefully we're gonna find out. The engine, 2 cylinders, inline 2, LC8C, and C stands for compact. It doesn't vibe, it feels nice, it has 95 horsepower, it feels alive, it feels very stable at high speeds, but I didn't have panniers today. However, I think it's gonna be okay. The suspension, I can't get to a conclusion so far because I only spent 2 hours and a few kilometers riding it, and the roads were pretty good. But what I noticed is that you don't have such a big dive in. I mean, when braking hard, you don't feel like having a lot of kilos coming on the front end, which is really cool. This is day 2 and probably the most interesting day of this test, because today we're gonna ride the 790 Adventure R in off-road in the desert. Wow!
What the bike can do is really amazing. I think everybody is surprised about the reaction of the suspensions and how you can go in extreme way in the middle of the desert, and the bike is the reactions are really good, and also the weight. This concept about the tank that makes the bike handling even if it's full, and yeah, I think it's one of the only bikes that is really possible to do off-road. Yeah, for sure you can do the same route that in Dakar, but yeah, of course not for wind. Our bikes are much lighter than this, and also about the rules, but no, it's completely as you have seen and you have to test. We did dunes, we did sandy rivers, we did everything, and for the bike it's not a problem.
Obviously, the 1090 has quite a bit more power. It's got that big V-twin torque, but it pays for it in terms of weight. It's a lot heavier bike. Yeah, the 790 is lighter, more agile, probably more off-road focused, but then doesn't have the torque and the power of the 1090. So I found the best way to describe it is imagine it's like a modern Super Enduro. Remember the old 950 Super Enduro? Yep. It's like that, but with a low seat height, all the electronics, and good fuel range. That's the best way to describe. I think that's the easiest bike to describe it to. Desert riding can be very challenging. It's really beautiful. It's a huge sense of freedom, but you have to be quite careful, because, like we talked about this morning, you can build speed so quickly, but it only takes one stone in the wrong place, and things can happen very quickly. So it's all about sort of maintaining your speed at the safest, fast, balancing speed versus safety as the terrain changes. Sometimes that can be wide open 140, sometimes it's very slow, and you're always having to change and modulate your speed to the conditions. So it takes quite a long time to learn to read it, and especially for me coming from New Zealand, we have no desert. So always the first few rides is trying to recalibrate my brain to the speed and the potential for risk.
And about the dune riding, the sand dunes?
Yeah, the big thing with the sand dunes is learning how to read the lines and how to find your way through the dunes. It can be very soft, and once, a meter to the side can be very soft, a meter this way can be very firm, and it's learning how to read those conditions when everything all looks the same color. It's very challenging. I was lucky the first time we came here, I was following Mark Coma, so really the best guy in the world to follow through these dunes and learn the conditions.
19,000 kilometers.
4 months
4 months, yeah.
with your wife and luggage.
With not all the first 4,000 kilometers I've been in Chad, and there in the desert I had a support car. It's not possible to go with luggage and my wife through the Sahara. So in Chad. So for 4,000 kilometers I had been alone on the bike with a support car, but then 15,000 kilometers we've been both on the bike with luggage.
And what is the difference? Do you recommend riding with the passenger and the luggage this bike?
Of course,
is it comfortable?
Yeah, 100%. It's not a big difference to an 1190, If you're not using the seat of the R, if you use the seat of the standard model, it's quite similar to a 11 or to a 1090. And also with luggage, it's no problems to go long distance riding.
So you had what, 2 aluminum panniers?
2 aluminum panniers, then I have the photo bag over the tank.
Yeah.
And I had another bag with the tent and sleeping bag on the back. I am big enough and tall enough, and we have we had some really rough roads, really rough roads. Then the R version is maybe the better one, because I'm tall enough. So, but I think for 90% of the customers, the S version would be the better choice, because it's the seat is lower, so it's you can with both feet you get a good stand on the ground, and the suspension is even very good. So for normal traveling, the S version is a perfect bike. For me, the most important thing is to change from the tubeless to tube trims.
Yeah.
Because with the tubeless, if you're alone on the way, you might get a problem. But that is more. I carry tubes. And yeah.
Why do you prefer tubes?
Because the tubeless tire, the front rim, if you go for after 10,000 kilometers, I'm nearly sure it will not work again. So you have to put in a tube again. You know, when you change tire, you maybe will destroy the inner rubber rim, rubber band, and the rear tire. If you're alone and if you have a problem with the tire, you never ever get the tire off the rim and up again. Tubeless one.
Yeah.
So that's not possible with this
So
kind
you
of.
just fit the tube and that's it.
No, just change the rim.
Change the rim.
It's a smaller rim because these wide rims, it's very hard to get the tire inside, you know. So if you're alone, it's nearly impossible. If you have a second bike, you can use the main stand and get it down. But we are alone on the way, so that's why I always use the tube rims.
Tube rims, okay.
Yeah. And nothing, a piece of chain, something to repair the chain, and that is more or less. If you go for a long distance, where you maybe get a lot of very bad fuel, it's maybe an idea to carry a spare fuel pump.
Okay, the range?
The range is about 400 to 500 kilometers. It depends on the surface. So if it's tarmac and you're not going too fast, you come up to 450, 470 kilometers. If it's deep sand, you go up to 8 to 9 liters. But it really depends.
Did you also carry a fuel reserve?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't need it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the last question: what tires did you use for this bike?
For this trip, I was using the Pirelli Scorpion Rally. It's a really off-road tire. It's really good in sand and in muddy conditions.
And it lasted for 9,000?
No, not at all. No, it's going up to, it depends. Again, a tire you can destroy in 1,000 kilometers, but it's good for 5, not more than 6,000 kilometers. So if you go for a mixed area, I usually prefer the Carus 3. That's the tire I normally use for normal traveling, but Africa and special Chad and Central America is something different, you know. So there I really like the really off-road tire.
Which was the We're still in the desert and we had such a great day of riding today. I mean, it was all off-road and not just ordinary off-road. We ran to the Sahara Desert. We had a lot of sand dunes. We had a lot of loose terrain. We had a lot of sand. We had high-speed sections. And well, this bike is very confident. I mean, it has 209 kilos with the full tank, but it still feels, it still gives you confidence. It feels very well, it feels lighter in off-road, and I can do it. And I'm not talking about Chris Birch, who can ride whatever bike, no matter how heavy it is. I'm talking about me, because I am a normal rider, I'm not a professional, I'm an adventure traveler, I love touring, I love going far away, I'm not an enduro rider. So this bike gave me a lot of confidence today.
I'm enjoying a lot. Usually we come here to train and to push, but it's also nice to come here to just enjoy the ride and to test the new 790. I'm really surprised how light is the bike and how easy it is to ride. and yeah, it's really low. That is something really nice for women, because many are not so big as me. So yeah, I think it's the perfect bike also to ride for a woman, because it's easy, it's light, it's low. So yeah, it's a really nice bike. Last year I took with my boyfriend, we were on holidays in Corsica, and we took the big adventure, the 1-90.
Okay, the big one.
Been using this as a chance to test all the modifications that we'll make for the ultimate race. The steering damper is a big one. And obviously rally is a lot of high speed and unpredictable terrain. The big thing is the navigation system, following this road book the whole time, showing us where to go. We'll have the more of the rally system mounted up in here, the Stellar system. And we have the power parts, longer rally foot pegs, a bit easier on your feet on the long days. Power parts seat, so it's almost like an EXC seat, nice and flat, nice and narrow, so you can move around on the bike more aggressive. The power parts wheels, so these are a narrower wheel, which allow us to run the full-on desert race tires and mousses. And that's it. That's all we got. That's all we needed.
Yeah, we had the discussion at EICMA. I told you they were strong enough. Well, here's the proof. The base suspension is the same as what we use on our competition enduro bikes. So this is where the original development was done. It's called WP Explorer, and it's it's gone through a very long process to get where we are now. The demands were very tough, and as you tried today, it's something else. It really puts this bike outside of the league of any other adventure bikes. I mean, a big difference is of course the adjustability, but it's much more about the purpose of the bike. The normal 790 is made with a lot of street riding in mind, long distance traveling, and then when you get to your destination to do some off-roading. It's a very capable travel bike. It'll do a lot, and this is really an off-road hardcore bike to do a lot of jumping and extreme terrain. We all of us had a 990 in the comparison testing. This bike is better. I'm sorry to say the 990 is my hero. It's my icon. It's the bike I grew up with. I had posters on my bedroom wall of that bike. This bike is better.
Why?
Because there's 15 years of development in between the two. We've taken everything we learned with those bikes, with our race bikes, with our big adventure bikes, and put it all in this one.
And that's all for today, guys. Wow, it was amazing. In fact, we had 2 days of riding the new KTM 790 Adventure, which is an awesome bike. The engine pulls like insane in the mid-range. It feels alive, it's very powerful, but it's not intimidating. This is not an intimidating bike, probably because of the low seat, probably because of the fact it's narrow over here. I think that KTM really did a good job, because this is a new thing for a KTM. Usually the KTM bikes are big and heavy and mean. Ask anybody who has a 950 or a 990 Adventure. But this one over here is friendly, so you can ride it if you are a beginner. It won't scare you, and you can have a lot of fun if you're an expert, if you're an experienced rider. This bike is the enduro guy in the enduro touring market. It's more an enduro bike that can handle some touring. It's not a touring bike that can handle some off-road. I still have to ride it for a couple of days on the road to talk about comfort and to talk about the weather protection and things like that, and to see how it rides in everyday life with luggage and so on. Nothing left to say. I think I'm gonna go and grab a beer and catch up with the guys. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. See you!